right, hello, and welcome to Too Many Movies, the podcast where we discuss DVDs, Blu-rays, and even the occasional VHS tape. I'm your host, Hal, and with me here today, William. How you doing?
I know where you live, bitch.
You do now, yes. So, William, it's episode 101. We're getting back into basics, I would say. Except we're not.
It's what you call basic?
Well... So, yes, because we're talking about two movies today. I had two movies that I didn't originally plan to do so soon, but something happened.
Neither did I.
Yeah.
I thought I had a year for this.
Yeah, no. I wanted to get this over with. So, a little backstory. A while back, you and me, over a year at this point, we did episode 54 on Showgirls and Fritz the Cat. It's one of my personal favorite episodes.
Good year.
54, good year.
Yeah, a lizard movie came out that year.
It did indeed, yes. And yeah, I genuinely do hold that episode pretty highly. I think it was a very good episode. I think we talked about a lot of great things there. And
sure.
Yeah, no, I still hold Fritz the Cat pretty highly. I like that film. And Showgirls, well, no.
It's an experience you'll never forget.
I have still never forgotten it.
Yeah, because you watched it apparently 3 times this week.
No, I watched it once.
You said third watch through recently.
Third watch through was my recent watch through was my third one.
Okay, I misunderstood the wording on that one.
Yeah, and so now you look stupid in my Starship Troopers comment section.
No, you look stupid for watching it 3 times. I only watched it once. I'm smart.
Yeah. Well, speaking of your smartness, William, why don't you take over this part of the story? So we did our episode 54, Showgirls, Fritz the Cat. What happens next?
About a year later, for Wheel Night, I'm not there a weekend, and you fuckers watch Yongri 98 without me. How fucking dare you? Because
we spun a different wheel, and I said, I'll just put a bunch of random movies on there, and I just put on a bunch of random movies. One of them was Yongari 98, and we just so happened to land on it. And yes, me and James had the time of our lives.
It's a good thing James was there, though, because, for revenge, I asked James, "Hey, you know how you have Hal's address because of tax information?" So I asked James to dox you real quick so I could send you a copy of 9 Lives of Fritz the Cat off of Amazon.
Yep. Because, well, I had said, because you had said, like, someday 9 Lives of Fritz the Cat is going to end up at your doorstep so we can do
It was earlier that exact week.
Yeah, so we could do the sequel episode. And I said, well...
Spoiler, I was going to do this eventually regardless.
Yeah, so, wouldn't you know it, I have a copy of the 9 Lives of Fritz the Cat on Blu-ray, which means we could go ahead with the sequel episode of Showgirls and Fritz the Cat.
I'm allowed to abuse my powers once.
Yeah, no, you are not.
So when I do it, I have to pick something funny.
Right. You're allowed to do it once.
So we're going to find out today if this was funny or not.
You know the answer to that.
And yeah. I can never do this again because that would be weird.
No, you can never do this again. Nobody
Unless
can ever do that. No. Nobody is ever allowed to do this again. Not Yinsid, not Bustard, not Bamison.
I don't think James would give them that information in the first place.
Yeah. James is banned from doing it. He is never allowed to do it.
What if I specifically say happy birthday in the note?
Well, what are you getting for me that requires the note?
I don't remember.
Right, exactly. So,
and by don't remember, I mean I don't know because this hasn't happened yet.
Right. So, you have no argument, my friend.
Oh my god, I can't believe I sent you in the mail the complete collection of Five Nights at Freddy's games for Nintendo Switch.
Oh. It's a third time this week.
It's supposed to be 5 times.
Oh, well, yeah, because there's 5 nights.
I like how we're opening this video saying, hey, do you guys remember that one time James doxed Hal so William could send him something in the mail?
Yeah.
That's why we're doing this episode, because I abuse my power for funny.
Yeah. Look, objectively, it's hilarious. I was laughing when I got this Blu-ray in the mail. I thought it was really funny.
And I will never do it again.
And then you'll never do it again. But I'm also going to punish you even greater for that because, well, here we are doing the episode. because
I thought we weren't going to do this for a couple months.
Nope, we're getting right into it.
It was like, it was the serendipity of it, because we knew about 9 Lives of Fritz the Cat, because like that's obvious.
Yes.
What we didn't know about until we watched a Red Letter Media video was that there's a Showgirls 2.
I had a feeling, but I had never looked into it. But then, yes, the Red Letter Media video did remind me that it exists.
We could have done like an episode of 9 Lives of Fritz the Cat and Mad God or something. Nope. We're doing the direct sequel.
We're doing the direct sequel.
So basically, we're in misery now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Spoiler, neither movie is good.
No, and isn't that so shocking? I can't believe it. 2 sequels to movies that were already flawed ended up being worse. So
because, like, spoiler, neither director returned for either of them.
No. And you know what? Say what you will about Fritz the Cat and Showgirls. Yes, they're wildly polarizing films, I would say. But those directors are what make them special.
There is at least effort put into them, you can tell, or like their ideas.
Oh yeah, for sure. But it's those directors that definitely help them. And so
like
this time
Fritz the Cat had a purpose at the time.
Yeah,
Showgirls definitely had like ambition and is a well-made movie. Things that neither of these movies have.
No. All right. Enough pussyfooting around the intro. Why don't we just get into it?
Enough pussyfooting, let's get pussycatting.
Yeah, so pussycatting with 9 Lives of Fritz the Cat, our first movie, the one I have on Blu-ray. So, yeah. What interests me so far is that this is also a Kino Lorber Blu-ray, same as Fritz the Cat.
Both came out the same day.
Oh,
both came out the same day.
Okay.
Yeah, they released them both at the same time just to get it out of the way. I'm assuming that they got that it was a package deal. If anything, it's like, oh, you want Fritz the Cat? Well, we'll give you 9 Lives too, and like, okay, might as well just put them both out.
Finally, now all the fans of 9 Lives of Fritz the Cat, that's right, all 2 of them are going to be so excited that this is on Blu-ray.
I'm sure it's just a matter of completion's sake, where it's like, okay, well, we have the first one.
Yeah.
Oh, the second one's available. Might as well just get that so I have both.
Sure.
It's like no one is buying 9 Lives of Fritz the Cat and not the first one.
Right.
If you're buying the second one, you probably either are also getting the first one or already have it.
Right. Yeah. No, I can't imagine anybody buying or willing to watch this unless they're already a fan or have at least seen the first one.
Yeah. And I believe we just already mentioned Ralph Bakshi did not come back for this.
Nope. Apparently, I read up. There was like, what was it? There was like misconception that he did come back to like produce it, but no, he had literally nothing to do with it.
He had nothing, because 74, he probably would have been like a pre-production of like what, Wizards or like one of the Lord of the Rings things.
He was definitely working on Coonskin because that was 75.
Okay, so he was working on that, and then after that, he probably would have been doing pre-production for Wizards because like he had to make all the world building and shit for that.
Right, exactly. And then yes, of course, he would have moved on to Lord of the Rings. So yeah, he was moving on to other things that wasn't Fritz the Cat.
Because apparently there's like a big thing where like the creator of the comic did not like the movie at all and said, "Fuck you, I'm ending the comic and killing Fritz for real."
Which is really funny.
It's very funny. It's extremely petty.
Oh, it's
extraordinarily funny.
Petty. Yeah, it's extraordinarily petty. Yeah, it's like Stephen King hating Kubrick's Shining. It's like fair.
I feel if anything, it's more petty than that.
No, it is absolutely more petty than that because King didn't just be like, "Oh, I'm gonna kill off.
I'm never writing again.
I'm making
a sequel to The Shining. I'm killing all the characters. Fuck you."
Yeah, no, he didn't do that. He did write a sequel to The Shining, but that was Dr. Sleep. That's a whole other thing. But anyway. Yeah, no, it's extraordinarily petty. But again, say what you will about that first Fritz the Cat movie. It's flawed, but man, is it something special. I love it, still to this day.
Honestly, the best way to describe this is that it's a pale imitation of the first one. It's trying to do the same things as the first one without understanding why the first one was doing what it was doing.
Oh, yeah.
And which just makes things translate worse. Like, for example, like a big thing, like the first movie we mentioned before, how like at the time it was actually kind of progressive. It's just that as years went on, things have changed. Now it's a little more problematic, but like at least its heart was in the right place.
Yes.
Whereas this movie, No, it's just blatantly racist.
It's just blatantly offensive for offensive's sake. But like, it's not even telling any jokes. It's quite literally just being raunchy and offensive. It's what people who wouldn't like Fritz, the original Fritz the Cat, for being raunchy think it actually is, but it's not.
Yeah. Because, like, even then, it's like the character of Fritz, like, yeah, he's an idiot, but, like, I feel like he at least actually believes in something.
But he's also a college student, so he's young, he's impressionable. So
like, he at least is trying things and, like, has motives, kind of. They're dumb motives, but you get the sense, like, he actually at least cares about something that he's doing.
Yeah.
Whereas in this movie, he's just high all the time and is just doing shit.
He's just a jackass. He's an adult.
Yeah.
He has a kid. He has a wife, and he's just getting high all the time. He's assaulting people all the time. It's obnoxious. You're like, why am I watching this dude? Like, why should I like him? Why is he the main character?
Yeah, and like, spoiler alert, the whole movie is an anthology story. It's vignettes.
Yeah.
The framing device is that he is smoking pot while his wife is yelling at him.
Yep.
And everything is just his daydreams about his past lives, in quotes.
Right.
Because I'm gonna tell you, for a concept of this is his 9 lives, this isn't doing that at all. Because other than like literally one of them, all of these could have just been like an average day for this exact same Fritz, because they all take place around the same time period.
Right.
It's like, this could all just be this could have just been something that happened to you yesterday, for all we know. These are not extra lives. If you're gonna do that kind of thing, then why is it not like, oh, here's a medieval story of Fritz when he was like a young squire and he fucked the princess?
That would be interesting. Yeah, like kind of play around with time.
Caveman Fritz the Cat.
Right.
Like doing all these different points in history. That's why I thought this was gonna be. No, it's just he went to the pawn shop to sell a tiny toilet and he got an astronaut helmet, and now I guess he's going to space.
Yeah. But also he was around during World War II. It's like,
that's like the one thing that actually feels like they gave a shit about the concept. And also, that vignette's not very good either, because it's just one joke.
Hitler has one ball. That's the joke.
Yeah, it's Hitler has one testicle, and also he's gay, I guess.
Yeah, because Fritz gets ass raped by Hitler. It's like, oh, isn't that edgy? It comes out of nowhere. Yeah. It doesn't build up to it. It's just like, oh, mein Führer, you're fucking me in the ass. Like, okay.
Hey, look, it's Hitler's dick.
Yeah.
Isn't that funny?
This movie was written by a 12-year-old, essentially.
Basically, there really isn't that much to talk about. It's just going to be us repeating the same kind of things, that this isn't funny, this whole thing.
Right.
This is going to be a great episode.
Right. But yeah, so you're right. I'm not necessarily against the idea of it being about vignettes of 9 lives of Fritz. I think that's interesting.
If anything, if they did it right, it could be pretty good, because like the first one was already kind of loose. It was just kind of a road trip movie anyway.
Right.
But like, they don't do anything with the concept. They just call it 9 Lives of Fritz the Cat, because that's a thing that cats are known for.
Yeah. Now, were there even 9 vignettes in total?
I didn't bother counting.
Because I don't think so. It feels like
some of them just kind of bleed together.
Yeah, some of them bleed together, so it's hard to say. It's hard to tell like when one ends and one begins. Because I was thinking, okay, at the end of the Hitler one, he ends up getting shot. And I'm thinking, okay, he dies in that one, so then he moves on to the next life. Because there's also a vignette at the beginning when he's
fucking his friend's sister, and the husband comes home and shoots him.
Right, yeah, and then he dies. Which, like, okay, again.
Well, I'm actually going to say, I don't even think he dies in the World War II one, because he just shot in the ass and runs away.
Right, but I'm thinking, okay, that at least explains that it's the end of it. It's like, okay, that makes sense. But yeah, the rest of them don't necessarily have him dying at the end. The rest of them...
There's the one that's just like their attempt at a Bakshi music style thing. That's just a series of stock footage and Fritz dancing in the foreground.
So yeah, so there's this weird part where he's talking to some random person, and he nonchalantly goes,
hey, in the 30s, I was a swell guy.
Yeah, something like that. And then it immediately cuts to 1930s stock footage, and Fritz just dancing in front of that. And that's the segment.
What that segment is they saw the scene in the couple scenes in the first movie where like the crows snapping and it's like avant-garde or like the Duke Billiard thing. They saw that and said, "Oh, there's like a cool artsy musical sequence in there. We should do that for this movie." That's it.
But with no artistic intent.
Yeah, it's just here's Fritz dancing with some jazz music in the background and also some stock footage.
Yeah, it's like
okay. It's like, and it goes on for like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
It's like, looks cool. What the fuck is going on? And it just ends abruptly, and then is back to his wife yelling at him.
Right. Yeah, and then we're moving on to the next segment, which one was that after? What was that?
Okay, what were all the segments first? So we should probably cover that.
Okay, so the first segment would be when he's
fucking his friend's sister.
Where you have the crows outside of the window and they're talking, and it's supposed
for no reason.
Well, it's supposed to simulate what they did in the first movie, where you had real life conversations recorded and then they just animated over that, but they didn't do it properly this time because they don't understand how sound mixing works. So you have actual dialogue mixing over recorded dialogue to make it sound more natural, and it just makes you stressed out of your mind because there's multiple people talking all at once. It's like not understanding how the Safdie brothers do it in Uncut Gems. It's obnoxious is what it is.
Okay. The second one is he is talking to God in the trash can,
who's played by Bob Holt, Avatar and Wizards.
Oh, Bob.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm rapping with God far out, and it's like, okay, so like they still have like Fritz talk like that and stuff, but it's like he's just talking to God, who's like a sick hobo, and then he explodes, but he's implied to actually be God because then he's still talking to him after that.
Right.
And that's the segment. Nothing happened. He just accidentally froze a match on God, I guess. First segment is World War II, where Fritz is a Nazi now for some reason, so he can fuck the general's sister or something.
I will say there were two things I did actually kind of like with this segment. There's when they're at the Nazi round table and
they're like, death before dishonor, and no one wants to pick up the gun.
Yeah, one of them goes, death before dishonor, and another one goes, what an asshole slogan. I was like, what a funny line. And then when they're refusing to use the gun, so they just start like pushing the gun across the table and it starts playing like a game of pinball. Like, that was cute. That was a cute gag. I like that.
And by that point, Hitler got his one ball blown off by a bomb, so he only has a dick.
Yeah, and then
I guess Fritz tries to fuck Ava Braun, who is a pig lady for now.
Yes.
Yeah, there's like one kind of subtle thing, not really subtle, but it's like all the Nazis are either like pigs or rats, and then Hitler's like a scaredy cat.
Yeah, he's like a scaredy cat. And then
that's like how in the first movie all the cops are pigs. So it's like, okay, they at least understood the assignment on that note.
Yeah, they understand. Yeah, because they do have some overlap with kinds of animals. It still does have that weird... It does also, but it still is that weird problem where you're like, okay, is every animal like that? But, we already talked about it with the first movie.
Yeah.
I will say it was funny when General Patton showed up and he was an alligator.
And then he shot his balls off.
He shot his balls off.
One thing to mention, because I don't know where at any point is okay to mention this, but like this movie feels even raunchier than the first movie.
Yeah.
And yet, somehow, this movie got an R rating.
Yeah. I guess maybe because the first movie was a hit, sort of, and kind of paved the way for kind of shifting how we view raunchiness in movies, but also maybe that might be giving it too much credit.
I think if anything, what it might be is that after the first movie was a hit, there were a bunch of other cheap movies that were trying to like capitalize off its success. And like I brought this up before in the last time, I'm pretty sure all the MPA ratings are copyrighted. So if you want to put them on the post, you actually do have to like legally go through them to actually get the rating for real.
Right.
Except the X rating was never copyrighted.
Right, exactly.
So what happens is that there are some people who like made the movies, and then instead of sending the money out to get the rating for the thing, they would just say it's X rated without actually getting rated. Just for marketing value.
Yeah.
So my fair think is that after that, the MPA caught wise And maybe they gave this one an R rating to try to curb that, saying, okay, Fritz the Cat is R now. Stop.
Right? Yeah. So then they can't pull that whole X rating bullshit again. Okay.
And then they would reserve the X rating for Friday the 13th movies to get them to censor it more and more each time, and everyone's upset.
Yeah.
Because the NC-17 wasn't until like the 90s, I think, right?
Something like that. Yeah, because I'm trying to even remember like what is actually rated NC-17 that I know.
Well, it's also a matter of things don't really get NC-17 anymore, because like if a movie does get rated NC-17, what's going to happen is they're going to censor the movie so that it can get an R rating, and then they'll release the unrated cut as on the Blu-ray and the streaming.
Yeah, everything's just unrated now when it goes to streaming.
And anything that like otherwise that could get it would just also go straight to streaming in the first place, because they're not getting released in the theaters anyway. Right. So why bother?
Right, exactly. Yeah, there's so much more to take into account now.
It's like it doesn't matter anymore. Like the only recent movie that got an NC-17 rating that I know of is that Blonde on Netflix, and even then, it doesn't fucking matter that it got rated NC-17 because it's on Netflix.
Yeah, you can just watch it at home. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, so it's irrelevant.
Yeah.
I think it's just because they were trying for like Oscars, so it had to get a theatrical release to be considered eligible.
Yeah,
which is like a whole other conversation about that being stupid.
Yeah, it's all stupid.
They're not even releasing the good stuff wide anyway, so why does it matter?
Right, exactly.
Release indie films in theaters for the people that actually care about movies. Why the fuck was I Saw the TV Glow not playing anywhere near me? Why the fuck is the Seven Samurai 4K not playing anywhere near me? The fourth vignette was the one where he talks to his Italian friend about the used condom.
Yeah, that's
and
what
he fucked his wife or something.
Yes,
which then results in the 1930s bit.
Yeah, because then he gets kicked out by the Italian guy who's just like, "I fuck your ass," and then he walks away. Comes across.
I thought I was using hyperbole. I said that was for 5 minutes. You know, this scene actually does go on for like 5 fucking minutes. Damn.
Oh my god, Jesus. But yeah, then he's just like, yeah, back in the 30s, I was a swell cat or something stupid like that. It's like correlation, hello, and then yeah, it goes right into the pointless jazz scene. See, I wouldn't be that pissed off of it being pointless if it was actually interesting or like interestingly animated or visually interesting. No, it's just Fritz in front of...
It's too long!
It's also too long. It's Fritz in front of 1930 stock footage, and then it just devolves into pointless sequences of lights in a completely black screen. It's like, this is an animated film. Why are you showing us completely black screens and then occasionally a light flash?
They're also not even saying anything with the stock footage either. It just is stock footage. It's like, oh, they're not going to like say anything about like politics in the 30s because Bakshi would have tried to do that.
Yeah, here's Great Depression footage. Here's FDR footage.
Fritz incited a fucking riot in the first movie for civil rights, and then they made a crack about Disney being fucking pro-segregation.
Yeah. What does this movie say?
There's no bite. This is just it's footage it's stock footage from the 30s because they don't understand why Bakshi did those things.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. No, it is purely they don't understand.
Also, the next one is the fifth one, I believe, 1-5, is he goes to the pawn shop to sell the toilet, and then he gets a helmet and goes to space.
Right. Yeah. So then he goes to space. He goes to Mars because they need to colonize Mars.
Because they need moms.
Yes.
And Fritz is very good at having sex with people to make them mothers, apparently.
But they never make it to Mars because the rocket explodes.
It
blows up. And so
then they are fucking each other through the suits.
Yes.
Yeah, because he picks someone up at NASA and then brings her onto the ship without telling anyone. Well, I guess they just blatantly walk up. They don't care.
Yeah.
There's a scene about where the rocket is like moving up and down because it's a dick.
Yeah.
It blows up.
It blows up, and then it starts going into a tirade about gas companies or oil companies. Something involving...
I think because the gas companies like sponsored it or something.
Yeah. And
which, I mean, to be fair, fuck gas companies.
Right. No, this was the 70s, so you had the gas shortage, and you had all this corruption and these billion-dollar corporations.
And nothing has changed.
But also, this movie doesn't really say anything about that. I mean, it has a gas company called Golf. And it's like, oh, wow, these writers thought they were really clever in slipping that in. Like, oh, a gas company called Golf.
The credit card says Master Charge. There's a televangelist on TV, a TV dinner flying by, the McDonald's sign.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it's literally McDonald's sign. It says McDonald's and everything. There's Kellogg cornflakes right next to it.
Yep.
They don't care about copyright.
No, they don't, because it was the 70s. But also, what is it saying?
That ship blew up.
Yeah. yeah, ostensibly.
The next one is...
when he meets Duke's ghost.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's like I think this is the longest one, the Black New Jersey vignette.
Well, this is weird, yeah, because he meets Duke's ghost, which pissed me off. I was like, oh, you're bringing back Duke. From
the
first
one
movie.
Form of continuity with the first movie.
And he's playing billiards because first movie. And then, we get into this pseudo-future where Henry Kissinger is president, and New Jersey is
now New Africa.
Yeah, they take all the crows or black people from America and just put them in New Jersey.
And it's its own country now. And I think Henry Kissinger is trying to assassinate their president to get them back or something. And Fritz is the delivery boy for the letter indicating that they're going to kill him or something.
It's really stupid. It's really stupid. Now, I get it. It's supposed to be kind of out there, and I get it. I am somebody who looks into the logistics of a film far too much, but this part really bothered me because logistically this makes no sense.
It bothered me because it's racist.
It bothered me because it's racist too, but also it just doesn't make sense. First of all, Henry Kissinger could never become president because he wasn't born in the country. He could be a politician, he just could never become president. But also, you can't take the population of America's black population, and fit them all into New Jersey. I get it. That's probably the joke, to be like, oh, haha, New Jersey is now New Africa, because New Jersey is just a joke in general. But, like, it makes no sense. And I get it.
You'd have better luck doing that in Ohio.
Yeah, I guess so. You
also probably still wouldn't be able to fit them all in Ohio.
No, you wouldn't be. And I get it. That's the joke. It's supposed to be absurd, but it's like, okay, what are you trying to say about that? Is the point of this supposed to be that it's absurd? It's supposed to be out there. It's supposed to be just something you would never expect. Okay. Can you elaborate on that more?
They use the N-word a lot in this short.
Right.
And, like, the only people that used the N-word in the first movie were black.
Yeah.
So it's fine. No, here we just have Henry Kissinger using it.
Right. No, again, the whole, oh, we're doing it to be shocking. It's like, okay, go further with that. You're just it's so obvious they're just doing it to be shocking.
Statement is Henry Kissinger is racist. Okay, and
exactly.
What else about it?
What else?
We know he's racist. Yes, he's an old white guy who deserved to die. He died now, right?
Remember, he died last November.
Okay, good.
I posted the GIF from The Simpsons and
thank God
when he walked into a wall and was hospitalized. Yeah,
it was annoying whenever a celebrity died and he was still alive. Like, how the fuck are you still alive?
He lived to be 100, man.
He didn't deserve it.
Who does?
I could probably name some people.
Probably.
What's a celebrity that died recently?
Roger Corman.
He deserved it.
Yeah.
He was still making movies to the very end, baby.
He was.
Who else died recently?
Who did die recently?
The fucking Richard Simmons died recently. That was fucking weird.
Yeah, I didn't even know he was still alive, to be honest. I thought he already died.
Well, like, he died and I didn't find out until like a week later. Like, Richard Simmons died last week? What the fuck? No one said anything about that one.
Yeah.
Bob Ross probably deserved to live to 100.
Yeah, but I didn't know he died in the 90s. I thought he had lived at least until the early 2000s, but no, he died in the mid-90s.
No, he died before we lived.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he was way before our time.
That's the power of memes, baby. Billy Mays here. I'm dead at 50 or something.
Yeah, well, I remember when Billy Mays died.
Because it was him, Farrah Fawcett, and Michael Jackson, and fucking
Patrick Swayze.
Patrick Swayze all at the same time.
Yeah, 2009, man. What a year for celebrity deaths.
Yeah. We should be watching Roadhouse instead of Nine Lives of Fritz the Cat. So, racist New Jersey or something.
Right. Yeah. So, and then it leads into this...
A bunch of shit.
It leads into this weird scene where, so the president of New Africa, who's in the Black House, because, instead of the White House, it's the Black House. He gets assassinated. Fritz is blamed for it. And then there's a scene implying a war between America and New Africa, because you have these two, I want to say, plateaus, and you have I might be misremembering it. I think it's Alligator General Patton, or no, maybe it's a pig. It's like a pig general from America, and then a crow from New Africa. And for some reason, the frame rate in this scene is distractingly sparse and really doesn't look good.
I don't think the movie looks good.
No, the movie doesn't look good in general. It genuinely look, because I know the director wanted to replicate the style of the first movie. He failed, but at least up until then it was fine. Whereas now it's a little distracting. I don't know. There was just something really distracting about this sequence.
Yeah, I'm trying to find this sequence. I just watched a scene of a guy getting cut up with a switchblade.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There was the Yo Mama joke. Which I actually thought I thought that Yo Mama joke was actually kind of funny.
What was the joke again?
Where he said, Yo Mama, so ugly, she got hit by a bus, and then people didn't have the heart to tell her she was ugly, so she assumed she was pretty, so she kept getting hit by a bus or something like that. It was something absurd like that, where I'm like, all right, this is so absurd that it's kind of funny.
Squidward.
Yeah.
It's just the joke of, we put all the black people in New Jersey, and now Fritz is walking around a bunch of black people.
Mm-hmm.
And then the president gets shot a bunch.
Yep. President Supreme Jackson.
And Fritz is on death row for some reason, by the way.
Right, because he gets blamed for the assassination.
And then what?
Then he ends up in the sewers, and Pepe the King Prawn is there. Except
okay, well, how does the New Jersey thing end?
I actually don't remember how the New Jersey thing ends.
I'm trying to find the end.
Doesn't he get shot, or does he live? Does it just like kind of stop and he's back to getting berated by his wife again?
I'm looking at a pig general and a crow on a bridge.
Yep.
There's a bunch of images in the background.
Oh yeah.
There's that one picture of the sad boy in Africa that you see all the time on posters.
Yeah.
They're having the duel between Burr and Hamilton, I think, right now.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. Like the plateau. You have the plateau there.
Yeah. They cut a bridge, and now they're just both on long things. How are they going to get down?
Yeah, you see, the what it's saying here represents that they're cutting ties between countries. It's very subtle, you see.
I'm going to assume, I'm watching it now, so I'll know this, but, like, I'm going to guess something probably gets nuked.
Yeah, probably. I mean, it always ends up.
There's a grenade. There's an explosion. There's a medieval flail. Kabonk. This is going to be fun to edit.
This is going to be very fun to edit.
Oh, this scene goes on for a while.
Yeah. It's horrible scene.
Oh, it's still fucking going? I'm skipping around. It's still going. It's still going. Now they're playing basketball?
There was basketball?
He like dribbles up, and then fake Richard Nixon shows up and shakes his hand.
I completely missed when Richard Nixon showed up. I honestly forgot about that.
And now there's a round table again. So, what was the point of any of that?
What was the point of this movie, man?
Okay, back to Fritz's execution or something.
Right.
Okay, they just shoot him. Okay, cool.
Okay.
So nothing of value happens.
I'm glad you rewatched the whole movie to figure that out.
And then the last life is that's not 9. I think 9? We're on like 7 now, aren't we?
Something like that. Yeah, because it depends. Because then he's in the sewers. He comes across Pepe the King Prawn. And that goes completely nowhere. And then Lucifer shows up.
That's the end of the short.
Yeah, that's the end of the short. They don't do anything with Lucifer, so that makes 7 in total.
Okay, so retrace. Okay. First Life is Fucks the Guy's Sister.
Fucks the Guy's Sister.
Second short is Rapping with God.
Yep.
Third short is World War II. Fourth is the jazz instrumental sequence.
Yep.
Fifth is Space. Sixth is Black New Jersey. Seventh is Satan. I guess the eighth life is the wraparound sequences with his wife. So there's only 8 lives in here.
They couldn't even count correctly. Or at the very least, they didn't make it obvious what the 9 lives were.
Well, because again, they don't do anything with that concept.
No.
These could have just been days he has, other than the Nazi shit.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, Fritz in World War II, funny idea. They don't do much with it. They just make gay jokes about Hitler.
Yeah.
They couldn't even kill Hitler correctly either.
Yeah, it kind of just happens out of nowhere. He gets run over by a tank, and it's not even made a big deal of. It just happens.
If you're gonna kill Hitler, you need to kill him for kill him good.
Yeah, it doesn't do it correctly. It just sort of happens, and that's it.
You need to make Hitler's death satisfying or funny.
Yeah. Jojo Rabbit did it correctly.
Okay, I'm looking at the Wikipedia article.
Yeah.
And what it's saying, the first life is talks to fucks Juan's sister.
Mm-hmm.
Second life, he meets the drunken bum claiming to be God. Third life, World War II.
Yep.
The film then cuts to Fritz's fourth life as he attempts to sell a used condom.
Okay.
They're counting the fourth life as at the pawn shop and the fifth life as the psychedelic montage of stock footage.
Oh my god.
But like, the fourth life doesn't end.
No, it doesn't. It just sort of stops.
It directly segues into the other thing. So no, I count those as the same thing.
Right, yeah, exactly.
I'm counting as the same thing. If anything, then the other one would just be what is the same as the wraparound sequences then.
Right, because it didn't feel any different from the wraparound sequences.
Oh, then they're counting the pawn shop and the NASA sequences as 2 different lives. Again.
Okay, well
again, those directly lead into each other, so that doesn't count.
That doesn't count. That makes it more than 9, though, right?
No, because then it says the seventh life is 6 is the pawn shop, 7th is NASA.
Okay.
8 is Duke. 8 is Black New Jersey, and 9 is the Devil. But like,
okay,
2 of these are irrelevant. 2 of these don't count because they just directly segue into the other things.
Right? Yeah.
No. They don't. No. So fuck you, movie. You only had 7 lives.
No. This is bullshit. This is bullshit. Like, that's so obnoxious.
Anyway, the entire joke is that he meets Satan at the end and calls him a slur.
Yeah.
And that's the end. That he literally says that, and then it cuts back to the wife.
Yeah, and then then the wife kicks him out, and then he starts having flashbacks to all the scenes in the movie because again, they have to extend to that monstrous 77-minute runtime somehow.
And then it ends with him walking in a psychedelic credits montage with an actually pretty cool song, and that's it.
The music in this movie is pretty cool. I like that 70s jazz.
70s funk. It's good.
Yeah.
But it's just that it was also in the first movie, so whatever.
Yeah, exactly. It was much better utilized in the first movie.
Also, it's like they do the old joke of, hey, what if Satan was gay? And it's like, okay, we've seen that before in other things, like famously, like Powerpuff Girls has him, Cow and Chicken and I Am Weasel have like
the
big red guy, yeah. But like,
and then you have Satan
him
in
and
South
the red
Park.
guy, yeah, and like him in Powerpuff Girls is still fucking scary,
yeah,
and a good villain. The red guy has a personality, and frankly, everyone in that show is extremely effeminate, so whatever, it just blends in.
Red guy's my favorite character in Cow and Chicken.
Yeah. Because he's funny.
Because he's funny. He's so funny.
Yeah. It's like, good character. Doesn't matter that they're making him a stereotype. Well, I mean, it does matter they're making him a stereotype, but like, it was the 90s.
It was the 90s, but also, it's actually
funny. There was more to him.
Yeah.
There was more to him besides the stereotype.
Exactly.
This is, haha, Satan is gay. Let's call him the F slur.
He's looking for his earring that has Errol Flynn on it. It's like, okay.
random stray for Errol Flynn.
Yeah, I guess so.
He's already been dead for like 20 years at this point, but whatever.
Right. It makes no sense.
Good luck explaining to a Gen Z what Errol Flynn was.
I will explain nothing.
Especially since I explained that horribly, making it sound like they were a thing, not a person.
Well, Errol Flynn was a thing in the 30s, you must understand.
Correct. Yeah, and then he was tried for statutory rape.
Oh.
He was acquitted, but that basically ended his career anyway. And then he let himself go and became a drunkard. He tried to make a comeback in the 50s, and then he had a heart attack.
Well, shit.
And that's the story of Errol Flynn. Adventures of Robin Hood is a good movie. You should watch it.
It's a very good movie. I like Adventures of Robin Hood.
Remember when you said you wanted the first episode after 100 to be a Pixar movie and a film from the 30s? So I pitched to you Bug's Life and Adventures of Robin Hood.
I do remember that.
And then you said, I don't know, because I don't want to just rely on you for episodes. And then immediately then you said, okay, so we're doing Fritz the Cat and Showgirls 2 now.
Yeah.
You could have been listening to the Bug's Life and Robin Hood episode, folks.
I'm a masochist. What can I say? I'm taking you down with me, William.
I'm going to eat this with chicken.
Okay, you go ahead. I'll just say this. The movie's not very good, but I do like how in the credits it credited Bob Holt with being credited as many voices. It's like, all right, that's pretty Chad.
Oh, I took that as laziness that they didn't want to write them all.
You know, that's a good point, too. Shit. Fuck this movie, dude.
It's a nothing movie, and there is nothing Fritz the Cat after this movie. This was the end.
Yeah, no, this is literally the last thing we ever saw of Fritz the Cat, and
yeah, they killed Fritz.
Those lousy stinking fairies. They killed Fritz.
And it's like, again, we've mentioned this before. There's potential for a Fritz the Cat sequel.
Oh yeah.
It's like, okay, he's not a college student. You could do something about like what his activism and shit is now,
Mm-hmm.
or like if you do want to do a 9 Lives thing, show this character a bunch of different actual cool scenarios.
I really think a 9 Lives vignette kind of movie is a really good idea for a film.
It's like there's a lot of potential there. Like, okay, we're having him go to space, so he goes to Mars, and now he meets the alien queen.
That'd be great.
Shenanigans ensue.
That sounds awesome. Yeah, do something with that.
Fritz the Cat in Renaissance era France or Italy.
There you go.
He goes to Leonardo da Vinci and makes a giant dick machine.
That's perfect. You're just pulling these out of your ass, and these sound vastly better
Fritz
than what we got.
Prehistoric times. Giant big city cave lady and dinosaurs.
Again, you're just listing off great things. And
Fritz the Cat in Jesus times, and he accidentally is the one that gets Pontius Pilate to do the thing.
Oh, that would be amazing. I would love to see that.
Oh my god, I can't believe Fritz the Cat is Judas. Yes, I can. There's so much you could do.
It's limitless.
And they did nothing.
They did nothing. They did something. They tried with the World War II stuff, but no, they didn't really.
I want to say that like that was probably the genesis of the movie, and they
absolutely
didn't have any ideas because like that one just sticks out like such a sore thumb.
Yeah, you're right. It does seem like the genesis of it because you have Fritz the Cat, who was notorious for being the first X-rated animated film. So you think, oh, what do we do that's raunchy and out there? Oh, we have Fritz interact with Adolf Hitler. That's funny. It's like, yeah, it's only funny if you do something funny with that, though.
Yeah, which they didn't.
Then they didn't. No,
because they just wanted us to look at Hitler's dick for 20 minutes.
It's like, yeah, Hitler notoriously, infamously had only one testicle. Do something more than just pointing that out.
Wait, is that actually true?
Oh, you didn't know about the... Yeah, isn't that true that Hitler only had one testicle?
The information I know about Hitler kind of sort of begins with and ends with he was an evil dickwad.
Right. But there's I
never really looked into whether or not he had how many testicles he had.
No, but that I'm like 99% sure that's a thing, that he had one testicle, because yes, that does sound like something somebody would make up for him because he deserves for that to be made up about him. But also, I think it is legit. I think he only did have one testicle, which, superior race and all that. Sure thing, buddy.
The man wanted blonde hair, blue eyes. He was brown hair, brown eyes.
Yeah. Something don't add up there.
It's called he was racist.
Right. It's called he wasn't very well. I say he wasn't very good at his job. He kind of was, but then towards the end,
the unfortunate thing is that he was pretty good at his job for a while until he wasn't anymore.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, because you can only go so far with one testicle.
Apparently. How many testicles did Lance Armstrong have?
Well, I think because of the steroids, he only has one now, right?
Well, he goes pretty far though.
I know, but I have not thought about Lance Armstrong since his epic rap battles of history with Babe Ruth, so I have no idea.
So, is there anything left to talk about Fritz the Cat 2?
No, this is a completely worthless movie, and
okay, cool.
How much did it cost you to ship this Blu-ray to me?
I can probably still look that up on Amazon. I want to say it was probably like a $20 Blu-ray or something.
Was it worth it?
It was funny enough at the time.
It was funny in the time. It was funny at the moment. I agree, but now that we actually had to watch the film,
I mean, the price. I got the price of admission.
Yeah, exactly. Look, we've seen it now.
It was $20 for the Blu-ray itself, and then shipping, handling. Who cares?
Right, exactly. So yeah,
American Pop is $25 on Amazon.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I've always wanted to dive into more of Bakshi's filmography because even though I say I'm a huge fan of him, I have seen very little of his films, but that's because I'm just a huge fan of what I have seen, that being Wizards and Fritz the Cat. But yeah, I feel like I do need to dive more into his stuff.
I did look it up, and apparently, I think there were cases of things that were retroactively rated R after this, but I think this may have been this is at least one of, if not the first R-rated animated film.
Oh, great.
So at least this has that going for it. There's cases of other movies that also are animated that have R ratings, like Fantastic Planet, but whether or not it was rated R when it first came out, or if it came out later in America and got the R rating, I don't know.
Right.
Because that's a French film.
Yeah.
So as far as I'm aware, this might be the first R-rated animated film.
I mean, I guess it could have been worse. I have seen worse R-rated animated films in my time. So stuff like, I want to say Postacalypse and Sausage Party are vastly worse than this movie. I don't know. There were some gags I laughed at and I thought was pretty cool. And I do like the sketchy animation style. It's not as good as the first one. And I do like the music, but again, same applies. It's not as good as the first one.
I do have some good news, though.
Yeah?
The next one we're going to talk about, even though it's much longer than this, I think we are going to have less to say.
Exactly. So, William, I have the 9 Lives of Fritz the Cat on Blu-ray. But guess what? As much as I appreciate you gifting this movie to me, William, I can't in good conscience add it to the collection. I really have no other reason to keep it.
Put it in a frame and hang it on the wall so it's not actually in the collection.
All right, maybe I'll do that. It's not in the collection, though. I don't like this movie at all, so...
It's an art piece.
I'll figure something out then, If you're so gung-ho of me keeping it, somehow, I'll figure something out.
The answer is he's going to wait till the next time he sees me in person and hand it back to me.
That's a good idea. I should do that.
Yeah, good idea. You came up with it last night.
No, I said I was going to send it back to James, and James was going to give it to you. But we might as well cut out the middleman, and yeah, I might as well just give it back to you the next time I see you. So,
or don't. You can frame it.
I guess we'll find out the next time I see you, William.
In 5 years.
In 5
probably
years.
Probably not that long.
No, probably not. I should come back down to Pennsylvania at some point.
So anyway, once upon a time, we found out that there was a Showgirls 2.
Yep. Oh, yeah. We found a Showgirls 2. It exists.
It's a Walmart camcorder movie.
Yeah.
It was directed by the woman who played Penny in the first movie. Remember Penny? She was in it for 30 seconds.
Yep.
And the movie came out 16 years after the first one.
2011, yep.
It's not good.
Really?
It is also 15 minutes longer than... No, it's not even 50. It's a half hour longer than the first movie?
It is 145 minutes long.
And the first movie was... 120?
Yeah, the first one was 131 minutes, so it was like 2 hours and 10 minutes.
And this movie is 20 minutes longer.
2 hours and 25 minutes, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God. It's weird because there's a lot to say about this movie, but also not a lot to say about the movie.
Well, let me just say that it's given me a newfound appreciation for the first Showgirls.
Because at least the first Showgirls is a movie.
Yes. Yeah. Say what you will about the first Showgirls. It's not good. It's not the worst. I think we're well past the era of calling it one of the worst movies ever made. It's not.
No, yeah, that was definitely just a case of the people in the 90s being prudes.
Yeah, exactly. But now that we've given time to actually judge it for what it is, it's still a failure at being a satire, but it's not the worst thing ever. And it is certainly not a secret masterpiece. I will not fall for the revisionist history of Showgirls being this like amazing film that you can't hate. No, it is awful. It's bad.
It was a big swing by the studios that didn't pay off.
That did not pay off. Yes.
Honestly, I feel like if it did pay off, things might be more interesting these days, but also like
Yeah, exactly.
It's like a matter of maybe there wouldn't be so much sequel bait today.
Right.
That'd be a net positive.
Yeah, and then we wouldn't be as prudish with what we put in theaters, but at the same time, it's like not necessarily like, again, like we were saying earlier, nowadays it's not that people won't see hardcore stuff, they just won't see it in theaters. They'll see it streaming, or they'll see it other places. They'll see it different places. Yeah. So like maybe it wouldn't have mattered if it was a bigger hit. I don't know.
Maybe we'd have Showgirls 5.
Maybe. Oh god.
Maybe Elizabeth Berkley would be in the MCU.
Ugh. Yeah, no. You know what? I'm glad with what we have now. We can have Showgirls be its own cult thing that's people find enjoyment out of, whatever.
And everybody got sequels and shit.
Yeah. So if this Showgirls 2 has to exist so then we don't get another Showgirls, I guess that's fine. But also, my god, Showgirls 2, Pennies from Heaven is
the entire movie is simultaneously nothing at all, but also just a lot of incidental references to the first movie.
Which is strange, because I didn't think it was that big of a cult hit in 2011. I'm sure it had fans throughout the years, but I feel like its cult status is more of a recent thing.
Yeah.
Like once Vinegar Syndrome put it on 4K, and then people were willing to write about it and stuff like that.
I think there was probably a bit more before that.
No, of course. It was before then because
otherwise Vinegar Syndrome wouldn't have put it out.
Right, exactly. But that's what I'm saying. But again, it was happening more so in the later 2010s, so then it could build up to it getting a 4K.
Yeah. A deluxe ultimate edition 4K specifically.
Which I have forever now.
Correct. It's like nothing fucking happens in this movie.
No.
But also a lot happens. It's just that what happens doesn't fucking matter.
Right. Yeah. No. So, like we said, it stars and is directed by Rena Raphael, who was Hope / Penny in the first movie. And she just goes on an adventure, and that's the movie.
It's not even a good adventure?
No.
Like, the movie opens, it literally just shows the poster from the first movie with, like, the dance lessons.
Yes.
That's how the movie opens.
Yeah, and then we see
there's a bunch of different lines. There's a couple of characters who are in the first movie that show up again, like the guy who gives Naomi the ride to Vegas into LA.
Jeff.
Looking movie. He's in the movie doing the same purpose.
Right. Except he
looks like 20 years older.
Yeah, they don't open with him. They open with her talking with Everybody Got AIDS and shit, black guy. And then I guess they break up for some reason. Yeah. And so
also, he says the line at one point in the movie.
He does say the line at one point in the movie, and I'm like, I'm not against repurposing lines, but it is very eye-rolling. And the fact that Showgirls has lines you could repurpose is just...
they don't even it's even like sometimes they don't even get to say the line. They just say a line that's similar to the line. Like, I'm pretty sure at one point there's a line that's trying to be the Doggy Chow line from the first movie. but they're not talking about doggy chow, so it's like a fake reference.
Yeah.
It's like
it's confusing.
And it's like there are scenes here that are only there to be references to the first movie,
which is strange to me. Again, in 2011, if it came out now, I'd understand it a little more. I wouldn't like it, but I'd understand it a little more because there is that cult status. Whereas back in 2011, I don't buy it had this cult status yet. Which, although I will say, this movie does feel like it was made for only 2 people, because
one of which was Renee herself.
Right. So, you know what? The budget definitely reflects that. So,
because we said that this is a Walmart camcorder movie. It's just like a consumer grade camera the entire time. Sometimes the picture quality changes from scene to scene. Sometimes cut to cut.
Yeah.
The audio quality jumps around different places. That was not intentional.
They break the 180 rule several times.
A lot.
And
my favorite fact about this is the wonderful music that plays throughout the movie. You got such a talented composer. What did Hal agree? Don't you agree that the music in this movie was great?
Very much so, yeah.
Yeah. Would you like to say the name of the composer of this movie?
The composer is good old Kevin MacLeod.
Once we saw that in the opening credits, we knew we were in for something.
We were in for something. Yeah. So for those who don't know, Kevin MacLeod is the guy who's very famous for making all that stock music you hear.
Yeah, all the royalty-free music here on YouTube and other places. It's him.
It's him.
There were tracks we straight up recognized from like reviews, nostalgic videos, video game stuff.
There's tracks I probably have used I used a Kevin MacLeod song in the last episode when you were naming all the musicians you listened to on Spotify. I played a Kevin MacLeod song.
It's not all of them either. That's just who I put in that playlist to get the point across.
Right, exactly. But that's what I'm saying is like a podcaster on YouTube was using his music.
There's like the one song at one point that plays that is used for the Devious beat on YouTube, the funny video.
Yeah, the Devious beat song. Yeah. That's the level of score in this movie.
That plays.
Yeah. It's bizarre.
So it's like, what are we doing here? There's like recounting the events is just like, oh, and it's so hard to talk about. Like,
it really is.
There's plot beats that are just lifted from the first movie. It's like, oh, they're doing the goddess thing again, except it's someone else from a dance show instead of like a dance club.
Yeah.
And like they do the same kind of bits of, oh, someone tripped and can't act anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, she hates this woman, but also she's in love with this woman.
So
okay,
yeah, they really amp up the lesbianism in this movie more so than the last movie, which is strange. But I guess maybe because it wasn't the 90s anymore, so you could do that. But yeah, so and they try to redo the pool scene from the first movie where Kyle MacLachlan and Nomi are fucking in the pool. They do that in this movie, but again with the Walmart camcorder in somebody's dingy backyard pool, and there's no when they're doing like the waterfall like the motion when they're fucking under the waterfall in the first movie, they're doing that here. It's Rena and that other blonde lady, but they're doing it without the waterfall falling onto the woman, and so it just looks really awkward, like they're both having a stroke.
I mean, the movie feels like you're having a stroke.
Yeah, that's true too.
It's like the wraparound plot thread. It's like they try to do the thing with like where Nomi that is never answers who she actually is because she's like technically an outlaw.
Yeah,
they kind of try to do that where like Rena accidentally witnesses a murder, and then the person who did the murder falls on her own knife.
Yeah,
and then she never calls the police about it, so then people think, oh, it's someone else killed these people, so like the cops find her guilty for it at the end. Thing is, it's like an hour and a half until like the cops actually show up to do anything.
Yeah, the murder happens in the first 15 minutes. She's not arrested until the last 5 minutes.
Yeah,
and then she gets off
like,
6 months later.
The detective that's involved in the case doesn't get introduced until like the last 30 minutes of the movie too.
Right.
And it's like, okay, cool, whatever. And again, it only serves 6 months for murder, and then she gets off early or something, or she just leaves, and then she signs a hooker's ass with lipstick, and that's the movie.
It's a real Return of the Kings with multiple endings.
What is there to actually say about this movie?
It's not good. I was reading some reviews of it saying like, oh, Rena really wanted to capture the schlocky nature of the first movie. They didn't.
First movie wasn't even that schlocky either.
No, exactly. No, what makes the first movie so much fun is that it's taking itself completely seriously. Like, yeah, you have bits and pieces that are trying to be funny, but they're funny on the movie's terms. But no, the whole movie is comedically hilarious, I think. Like, when it's trying to be ultra serious, that's when I'm like laughing the hardest too.
Whereas this movie is like, it is blatantly referencing the parts of the first one that became jokes, just to be a joke. And it's like, it does not work. And again, it's so amateury shot and put together, and it's longer than the first movie.
That's the weirdest part. The pacing is so terrible.
There's parts where he notices just stock footage in places. It was like, when you first see the Las Vegas sign, that is just an image they pulled off of Google.
And then they digitally zoom out from it. And you just see some guy like holding up the thumbs up underneath, and then it immediately cuts away to like the next scene. It's so amateur.
Is this like one scene where like she's watching this dance show on TV, but they didn't actually put the footage on the TV and film that in real life. They just keyframed the thing onto it.
Yeah.
So you can tell that the angle is off and that it cuts off part of the edge of the TV.
It cuts away like out of the TV. Yeah.
It looks like one of us did it in 5 minutes for one of James's videos for the sake of a joke.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. That is the level of we're dealing with this movie. That's how that is the level of movie making we're dealing with here.
As in, we could make this movie.
We could. Do you remember when they're at a club, quote unquote club, and it's just some guy's house? It's some guy's house. It's so obviously some guy's house. It's like, you're not fooling us.
And there's also like the worst sex scene ever, because it's like she just goes with the guy to the bedroom and it cuts like the door a couple times very quickly.
Yeah.
You just hear like a couple moans. It cuts to the door once, you hear a moan, it cuts back to the dancing, it cuts back to them just walking out the door. It's like, what was it, 5 seconds?
Yeah.
You only took one stroke, my guy?
Are you that backed up?
Poor Things had a scene like that, but it was a joke.
Oh. Sounds like a real movie.
Yeah, because Poor Things was made by people who give a shit.
Yeah, Poor Things sounds like it was made by people who understand what the fuck they're doing.
And like, again, we need to emphasize, the character who this is about was in the first movie for like a minute.
Yeah.
This is the cynical. She found out that thing she was in that one time is popular, so she's trying to capitalize. I was like, hey, I was in that movie. I'm making a sequel. It's like, bitch, you were in the movie for 5 seconds. No one remembers you.
Which is weird, because she was in a much better film in Mulholland Drive,
which this movie also references.
Yeah, because she blatantly goes to Mulholland Drive, and she's like, they like film a scene of her in front of the Mulholland Drive sign. Again, she was in Mulholland Drive less, to be fair, but also that's a better film she was in. Wouldn't you want to capitalize off of that film instead?
Probably because Showgirls wasn't as well received, that it's like no one's going to call you out on it as much.
Right. But also,
if the person who was in Mulholland Drive tried for 2 seconds, tried to make a Mulholland Drive 2, everyone is going to fucking yell at you and clap back.
Right, exactly. I mean, to be fair, you can't make a Mulholland Drive 2. It's impossible. It's seriously impossible.
Yeah, they would also. I don't think you'd have the rights to do, because people would notice, like, no, you can't do that. Shut you down, cease and desist.
But also, here's my thing.
No one gives a shit about.
Why are you? Yeah, nobody gives a shit about Showgirls. But like, why is your process for capitalizing off the success of something to make a sequel to it? It's like, wouldn't the easiest thing to do would just be go to panels, sign autographs, make like YouTube videos talking about your experience? Like, there's about a million other things you could do before making a sequel comes onto the table. You know what I'm trying to say?
I do, but also I understand the reason you would do it anyway, because it's like, because you already have the name recognition at that point.
Right.
But it's like you could also just make like a spiritual successor as well.
You could do that. Yeah, that too. You could make just like a pseudo kind of like Showgirls movie and just be like, oh, I was the girl in Showgirls. It's sleazy, but I don't know. I just feel like there's other more logical places to go than making a Showgirls 2 in 2011.
Penny looks like Cynthia Rothrock nowadays, and it's like you look like someone 20 years older than you are, because Cynthia Rothrock was in her 20s in the 80s.
Yeah.
So she's like 10 years older or whatever than what Penny would have been. I think I didn't look up ages.
It doesn't matter, but yes.
No, Penny looked like that in 2011, whereas Cynthia Rothrock looks like that now.
Yeah, and this is what she achieved with her looks. Showgirls 2.
I'm saying she looks too old to be doing this shit.
Yeah. Oh yeah, too old.
She looks like a bad joke in Family Guy. Where Quagmire goes up to the hooker who looks like and is smoking heavily, and you could tell that she has like a hole in her throat because of it.
Yeah.
And then he fucks her anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of the ladies in this movie look like that, actually.
Probably because they couldn't afford models.
No, well, yeah, no, that's exactly why.
It's like Showgirls 1 is what people think Vegas looks like. Showgirls 2 is what Vegas actually looks like.
That's a good analogy.
Also,
yes.
For the record, this movie does not take place in Vegas. It takes place in Vegas like 2 seconds, and they go to like to California.
They go somewhere, yeah. It's never established that they go to California. They don't have like a single image of like Los Angeles to show that they're in Los Angeles now. They don't digitally zoom into like the Los Angeles Bank Tower to be like, oh, we're in California now. They don't do that.
How this movie sucks.
Yeah. I remember you were asking me, is this the worst movie we've talked about on the podcast? I really didn't think it would take this long to find it, because the movie that previously held that title was Independence Day Resurgence, which was 2 episodes ago. But here we are with Showgirls 2. I would say this is the worst. If it wasn't 145 minutes long, I'd probably be a little nicer to it, but my God.
We could watch Giant Lizard Fritz the Cat twice in the time span it would take to watch this once.
Yeah, what did we say yesterday? We could have watched Manos, the Hands of Fate twice. The fact that we're missing Manos, the Hands of Fate, we're just like, remember the good old days of Manos?
Okay, well, Manos is funny.
No, of course it is. Oh, I love Manos, the Hands of Fate with all my heart.
Torgo, baby, let's go.
Yeah. But that's what I'm saying. Like, that movie, I would rather rewatch, because I have a fondness for Manos, the Hands of Fate. I have nothing for Showgirls 2. I have a fondness for Showgirls 1 now because of what this movie is. It's so bad that I'm just like, wow, everything Showgirls 1 did, it did better than this.
I know this whole episode feels extremely scattershot, that there's not much structure, but like, there's nothing to really say otherwise. It's just us picking up a scene and saying, here's why this sucks.
Yeah, well, it's like the sequels themselves. This episode is the sequel to episode 54. It's also just like the sequels we've talked about, scattershot and all over the place, and pretty much saying nothing other than this sucks.
Because it's just nothing of value is happening.
No.
There's only so many times we can say, yeah, it's boring and nothing happens.
Yeah.
There's like an occasionally funny bit.
Yeah.
But it's like we're just laughing at the incompetence, and it's like there's better movies to laugh at the incompetence of, like Manos.
We've seen better incompetent films on Wheel Night. Like, these are the kinds of movies we accidentally come across, and we've gotten more out of their incompetence than this film. We purposefully
The funniest
watched.
parts of this movie was just when we recognized a Kevin MacLeod song.
Exactly.
The opening was somewhat promising when for all that, like the digital zoom and shit like that.
Yeah.
But that kind of fades away after a while, and then just becomes self-indulgent references to the first movie for some reason.
Yeah. If it was an hour long, I'd be like, okay, this sucks. It would still be a 1 out of 10, but At least it's an hour long. At least it's just that. It's just references for an hour. Fine, whatever.
And you know the weirdest part? Okay, so like this was like Raina Renee, whatever her name is, did like she directed it, she stars in it, and she edited it.
Yep.
Thing is, apparently later on, she did another cut of this movie, so it's a director's cut of a movie that was already cut by the director, and it's only 100 minutes long apparently,
which is absurd.
It's like, wait, so you did a re-edit later on as a new director's cut, and you actually made it shorter? Because usually director's cuts are longer.
Right. I think the only other time I can imagine... Isn't the director's cut of Alien shorter than the theatrical cut? But like,
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure that it's weird because Alien's theatrical cut is longer, but they added a scene in the director's cut, but it's shorter. I don't know. It's weird.
I did not watch Napoleon.
Nobody did. Why would you?
I did not watch The Last Duel.
I can't think of any Ridley Scott movie past Gladiator I'd actually want to watch.
Are you gonna watch Gladiator 2?
I'm not. Why would I? I don't really have a fondness for Gladiator 1. I think it's fine. I don't remember anything about it. Ralphie does?
Ralphie does.
Ralphie does. Yeah. Ralphie.
Tony, she was half the time we were just quoting Ralph saying she was a whore.
Because it's a good line. No, you say hua, I say huas because the horse part is the funniest one.
Tony, it was a horse. So are we done?
Yeah. Do you want to own this physically, William?
I think there are physical copies. I'm pretty sure I saw on Letterboxd people talking about that. No, I don't.
Right, exactly. I don't either. I wish I owned it physically so I could destroy it, but there's no point. We
didn't even know this existed until like 2 months ago.
Right, exactly. So there's nothing for me to gain. I've watched it. I can say now I've seen Showgirls too. It's given me a newfound appreciation for the first one. I still don't like that movie as a real movie. Showgirls 1 will never be a real movie to me. It's just something absurd that happened in the mid-90s. But I own it forever now on 4K as a joke. Whereas like this movie, no, there's nothing to gain. It's an entirely pointless film. And that's why
the best part of the watch through was when I interrupted to make you watch an Offspring music video instead.
The music videos you showed us were very good. I liked them.
Oh yeah, I did too. I showed the Caravan Palace music video because I wanted Buster to see people die.
You want to see people? You wanted them to see furry people die, and then you showed us the Slim Pickens one. That one was really cool because it reminded me of Doctor Strangelove. Because I'm just like, yeah, I love.
I like how you explained it as furry people dying. That's not going to set any images in people's heads. Now, granted, that's also a very famous music video because it has like 42 million views, if not more.
Right. But that's literally what it was.
Yeah. It was cat people going to a bar and getting into a fight, and everyone died.
Exactly.
People probably listening know what music I'm talking about.
They'll study it. They'll use their detective skills to find it. Hey, remember there's a detective in this movie?
Yeah, for 2 seconds.
Yeah, the woman detective who's just like, I study this in my detective class I'm taking.
Oh right, her. I thought you were talking about the actual detective.
No, I'm talking about the stripper.
Yeah, the maid stripper who was also a detective.
The maid stripper who is also a detective. That's why Rena.
That's a movie right there.
That's why Penny got out of jail, is because her detective maid stripper friend solved the case, and she was dressed in her lady detective wear, which is a stripper cop outfit.
All this would have been not a thing if Penny had just called the police and explained the situation.
And then there'd be no movie, which I'm all for.
Well, it still would have been a movie. It's just that it wouldn't have ended like that.
Right.
She still would have gone to that place.
Which is different.
Yeah.
All right. William, anything else?
So the next episode I'm going to be on is Hunchback in Perfect Blue, right?
Yeah, you know what? You've been a good boy for doing this. Sure.
Great. And Olivia is happy now, too.
Yeah, because Olivia also missed out on episode 100, kind of. So I think I should make it up to her, too, by making the next episode she's on Perfect Blue and Hunchback.
Yeah, everyone gets to deal with both of us.
Yeah, everybody wins.
Everybody, no, we don't win because we watched Showgirls 2.
No, we lost this episode, but everybody wins in that episode.
I thought I had a year until Fritz the Cat 2.
Well, guess what? Now you don't ever have to think about these movies ever again. All right, William, shout out your stuff, dude.
That.
Okay, yeah, coffin.
Yeah, now you have to leave the coffin.
I'll leave the coffin, sure.
I'm gonna make you guys watch fucking Ryan's Babe tonight.
Oh boy. Pray for me, people. Although it's already happened now. If you're listening,
this would have happened like a week after this.
Pray for my. You know what? I think I'll survive Ryan's Babe. I think I'll be fine.
I can probably name 1 or 2 people on the call who won't survive Ryan's Babe.
Probably not. All right. Thanks for listening, everybody. We'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.